All right, welcome to another episode of Paul's Collectibles. It's good to have you. Thanks for joining me. Today we're going to be talking about my helmet collection again in what has become a bit of a tradition around here at Paul's Collectibles. Seems like once a year I give an update on the helmets that I've acquired, and I go back over the ones that I already have in the collection just to get an idea of where I stand at about summertime each year. This will be the third time running. I'm going to talk about where I got them, what they're made of, the approximate price I paid for them, and then this year I'm going to add in whether or not I can overall make a recommendation on that specific helmet. But with that, let's get into this. Okay, to start off with, this is an overview picture of the helmet collection as it currently stands. However, I get antsy on a regular basis, and you'll quickly see as soon as we get into the helmet collection that this setup is no longer 100% accurate, but it gives you an overall view of what we're going to be doing. I use Detolf shelves or cabinets from IKEA, and there are 4 of them, as you can see. And before we get into it, each of the stands that these helmets are on are just 12-inch tall brushed metal paper towel holders, the kind like you can get at Bed Bath & Beyond or Costco or things of that nature. They're really inexpensive, they work great, and for the most part, no one is the wiser. And if you can get the kind that have the top that screw off, that way you can adjust it by a couple of inches, you'll see the benefit of that when we get over to the Mandalorian helmets. So we're going to do something a little different. In the past, I've gone up and down, but this time we're going to go back and forth. So let's start off with the very first shelf display. And you'll see that this is a couple of hot toys. I have an extra space here because later we'll see I moved my Imperial hat over to a shelf that I'm calling my Imperial Artifacts shelf, and ended up with some space and made the mistake of going by the Hot Toys website, and now I have 4 of these. And this is the Transport Trooper and the Shoretrooper Hot Toys, which are temporarily displayed there until I get more helmets. Now, as a quick aside, for the rest of the helmets that we'll see in this tour today, I have a video, either a close-up, quick look, or an in-depth unboxing and review, and in some cases 2 of those types of videos for each of these helmets. So if you see something you want much more information on, go down to the links that I've provided here. There are 2 different playlists, and you'll be able to find them. But this is my Lieutenant Oxixo TIE Fighter Pilot helmet from Anovos. This is made of an incredibly light ABS plastic. It's very expensive. It was about $540, and it is an excellent helmet, which I can recommend, but you have to be very careful with it. It's super screen accurate. Next up, we have my AT-AT driver helmet. This is also from Anovos, which has turned into a Nuevo Novo as of late. This was also about $540. It's very similar to the TIE Fighter Pilot helmet in as much as it's a very lightweight ABS plastic. It's very fragile. If you're going to cosplay with it, like the TIE Fighter Pilot helmet, you'll have to be very careful. But even at this price, I can highly recommend this. It's incredibly screen accurate and such a great piece of my collection. Now here's one of the newer helmets in my collection this year. As you may have seen in the original picture, last year I only had 3 cabinets. This year I have 4, as I started a Mandalorian cabinet. And this is the simple Black Series Legacy Boba Fett helmet. And these are really inexpensive, great helmets. This is obviously made out of a high quality plastic, and you can put a battery in there and light up his viewfinder. And for display and or wearing around, unless you're trying to join the 501st, because this is not completely screen accurate, I can highly recommend this helmet as well. It's a great addition. Next up, we have my EFX Collectibles Stormtrooper helmet. This one was also very expensive. To get something close to this on their website now, it's about $900. But this is a great quality screen accurate piece made out of a very sturdy plastic and fiberglass. And once again, I can recommend this if you're going for 100% screen accuracy and high quality. And as an aside, the card you see in the bottom left is a signed Scout Trooper 501st Legion card from my buddy who is in Southern California Garrison, and I got a kick out of displaying it like that. Next up, what we have is one of several Etsy shops or private maker helmets that I have purchased in my collecting journey, and I love this one. This is a nice quality fiberglass cast of the Patrol Trooper helmet, which we briefly saw in Solo: A Star Wars Story. And once again, this cost me about $350. It's not 100% screen accurate, or 100% screen accurate, because the tubes should be painted white on the inside. But this is just a thing of beauty, and for displayability and wearability, I can highly recommend this one as well. Next up is the Phase 1 Clone Trooper I got from a company called Dave's Armory in Italy. This is another fiberglass cast. It is an excellent helmet. I believe it was $300 or so, maybe a little bit more. And it is a beautiful sculpt and a beautiful paint job with the weathering. The only slight imperfection is in the peak of the crown. They got a little strange with the holes that were in the frown there. But overall, this one displays well, and it does fit on my head, and I can highly recommend this one as well, even at this price point. Once again, this is what I call one of my known commodity helmets. This is the Hasbro Black Series Mandalorian helmet, and is the helmet that actually started me down the I have to fill a whole cabinet full of Mandalorian type helmets. This is a good sturdy plastic. I was absolutely blown away by how well they mimicked metal with this plastic cast, and I can highly recommend this one. It is such an awesome helmet, especially coming from a company that charges usually about $100 to $130 for their helmets. Okay, people often ask me what my favorite helmet in my collection is, and it's such a toss-up because I love these helmets, but if I had to grab one, I gotta be honest with you, it would most likely be this Death Trooper helmet from Anovos, or the new Novo, as they are called now. This is an incredibly high quality, very shiny black fiberglass and metal cast. It's super heavy duty. It almost feels like a motorcycle helmet. It's fully lined on the inside, and it cost about $700, but man, in my opinion, worth every penny, and I love it. And once again, my buddy who's in the 501st is also the Emperor, and I couldn't find a better place to display his signed card, so it went with the Death Trooper. Keeping with the Anovos theme, here we have the Incinerator Trooper TK Stormtrooper helmet, and the Anovos helmets are very interesting as far as the Stormtroopers are concerned because they are incredibly screen accurate from the original movie, which means there's gaps and holes and it comes apart into 3 pieces. But if you're looking for a screen accurate quality helmet, this is very good. Now, like I said, and I'll keep saying it throughout this video, De Novo and Anovos, kind of an interesting company there. Go back through some of my other videos if you want more details. What I love about this one, and I paid about $300 for this one, is that it's based off a different Incinerator Trooper deco than the one we saw in The Mandalorian. I believe this is more accurate to some video game or something, but I love the way they did it, so this is the one I display in my collection. Next up is the helmet that I get a lot of questions about. Apparently these Phase 2 Clone Trooper helmets are very popular. This one is also a fiberglass cast. It came from an Etsy shop called Replica Prop Shop, but they ended up going out of business. However, this was a very great helmet, and at the time you could order them with different color deco on the front and weathered or not weathered. I got mine weathered, and I unfortunately can recommend this helmet, but I don't know that you can get them anywhere anymore. But if you get a chance, I highly recommend picking one of these up. It's a great addition to my collection. Okay, and we're back over to the Mandalorian cabinet again, and this is my Black Series Bo-Katan helmet. This is one of the newer helmets in my Black Series helmet collection. It cost about $135, and it just recently came out, as I mentioned. This, once again, if it's Black Series Hasbro helmet, you know you're gonna get a good quality helmet at a reasonable price. So this is a good quality plastic, and it fits on my head. Now, if you've been following my videos in any fashion, you'll know I have another one of these types of helmets that came from a Etsy shop, which I'll talk about later. But I really like this one. I like the fact that it's a little bit bigger and the deco looks a little sharper on it. So this is the one that I display. Okay, moving down to what is ostensibly the 4th row, although the 3rd row of helmets that's actually inside the cabinets. And this is my Anovos Shoretrooper helmet. And wow, just like the Death Trooper helmet above it, what an excellent quality helmet this is. It's made of a good sturdy fiberglass. It's got the beautiful weathering. However, Anovos, or De Novo, whatever you want to call them, they're very, very proud of their helmets, and they charge quite a bit of money. So this was about $700. It's currently available on their website, and if you've got the money and you want good screen accurate quality helmets, I can recommend this one as well. I love it. Now here's one of the helmets I am most proud of. I made this helmet. Well, I decorated this helmet. This is actually a Black Series Incinerator Trooper helmet. And if you've seen those Black Series Incinerator Trooper helmets, you know that the weathering on them is kind of silly, and it looked really, well, stupid, if you ask me. And then I saw these yellow accented artillery trooper helmets, or the artillery trooper, in The Mandalorian, and I was hooked. I just absolutely love the character. So I bought one and I spray painted it myself and weathered it, and now we have the Black Series artillery trooper helmet. Next up for the helmet collection is kind of the one that started it all. I was just originally going to get one Stormtrooper helmet for display, and this was a gift by a group of guys that I supervised, and it was just a great helmet to have. I love it. I've done several types of videos on the different Stormtrooper helmets I have in my collection. So if you want a really good look at this one, go back through the playlist. But Black Series helmet, like I said, good quality, solid plastic, not 100% screen accurate by any fashion. So you're not joining a high quality costuming group or anything like that, but just to wear around the house or go trick-or-treating, or mostly for a display piece. Absolutely beautiful, and I love the Black Series for that. And once again, my buddy in the 501st card, as his Stormtrooper costume, is signed and displayed with it as well. And here we are back to the Mandalorian cabinet. All of my Mandalorian helmets on display are actually Black Series helmets. So this once again is a Black Series helmet. And I have to be honest with you, I did a review video on this one and an unboxing. It is beautiful. I love the color scheme they did here. I love the fact that they almost made it look like stone, the way they weathered it and decorated it. And at 130 bucks and good quality solid plastic that you can either wear around the house or display, I just can't get enough of these Black Series helmets most of the time. Can highly recommend this Death Watch Mandalorian helmet. Okay, so now we're on the floor level bottom row of the helmets, and this is another Etsy shop. This is my Turbotank driver from Galaxy Toys in, I believe, the Netherlands, and I paid about $300 for this. And if you look at my video, I made a very good point of pointing out that the visor on this is horribly screen accurate. It's way too small and it's not robust enough. And it's very disappointing because the rest of this helmet is pretty beautiful. Great weathering, good quality, solid fiberglass cast. It's a little too small for my head, unfortunately. It mashes my nose in to the point where I wouldn't be able to wear it for any amount of time. And like I said, the screen accuracy on this one, it's a little off. And for the money, you expect good quality screen accuracy. It's not a Black Series helmet. So overall, I can't say that I can recommend this one unless you're not too worried about that visor. Check out the video if you want more details on that for sure. Yet another Black Series helmet. This time it's the same Stormtrooper TK mold that they did a bunch of different helmets on, but this one is that really cool Shadow Stormtrooper. It's all shiny black and it's got like the blue accents on the tubes, and I loved this one. So once again, Black Series, good quality, not incredibly screen accurate, but for what you're getting for the amount of money, $100 to $130, I just don't think you can complain. And I love having this in my collection. This one is in my row of Stormtrooper variant helmets down at the bottom, and I love it. Okay, so the third cabinet, currently right now at least, is my evolution of Stormtrooper helmets if you've been following along. And this is the Black Series First Order Stormtrooper helmet, the iteration that is based on the second and third of the sequel movies. The first one, which Anovos did, and I used to have, is a little different in as much as the frown has changed and now they put teeth in them as well. And when I got this one and compared it to my Anovos helmet, which I did a video on, seeing a theme here? I actually ended up liking this one more. About $120. The Anovos First Order helmet was probably $300 or $400. So I ended up donating that Anovos helmet to a charity auction for a children's hospital. And now I just display this one and I enjoy it. Once again, I can recommend these Black Series helmets if you're just looking for display or something to kind of fun wear around the house. Once again, you're not going to be able to cosplay or get into the 501st if you're looking for 100% screen accuracy, but man, for the amount of money they get so close, it's totally worth it. And then finally, amongst the helmets that are displayed in my glass cases, this is the Boba Fett re-armored helmet. And this is probably one of the Black Series helmets about which I am mostly disappointed. It is not very screen accurate. They put it all these extra brown and rust colored weathering on there, and the colors are off. And it just was a disappointment when I pulled it out of the box, since I was really looking forward to something that severely and incredibly matched what I saw on screen in The Mandalorian and the Book of Boba Fett. Now, that being said, it's still a good looking helmet. And as you can see, I don't hate it enough not to display it. I just love having the different color Mandalorian helmets all stacked in a row here. So Black Series, about 130 bucks, as long as you know what you're getting into. Not very screen accurate and the weathering is a little off and it's just mostly a repaint. As long as you know, then I can highly recommend this. And that wraps up my helmets that are in the display cases. Let's talk about some other ones. Okay, what we're looking at here is my Anovos standard TK Stormtrooper helmet that came with the entire set of armor that I bought years ago. And there's actually a video of me unboxing that entire set of armor early on in my quote-unquote YouTube career. But in that time, I've bought a Stormtrooper statue, which is why I originally bought this armor, and I have several other Stormtrooper helmets. So I made a project out of this armor, and I built my completely non-canon, absolutely imaginary, made-up Tactical Operations Stormtrooper, and he has got a gray and black deco, and there is where that helmet ended up. It's all painted gray and black, and as an aside, he has his Tala rank plaque on that I also did a video about as well if you want to check that out. On the other side of the display cases, I have what I jokingly refer to as my Imperial Artifacts Tower, and at the top of that tower is my Imperial boots, Imperial officer hat, belt buckle, and belt, and then there is a rank plaque displayed there as well, but I don't for the life of me remember where I got that, but it's a little rubber rank plaque that I talked a little bit about in the video where I was talking about the Tala rank plaque I just mentioned. And Imperial Boots is an American or English company that's based in China, and they do a ton of soft goods at very reasonable prices, and that's where I got that hat, like I said, and that belt. A little further down on that same tower is my EFX Collectibles TK Stormtrooper helmet. Now, I do have a video on my channel where I compared all of my Stormtrooper helmets so that you can see the differences, but this one was about $350 to $400. It's a lot more screen accurate than the Black Series one. Obviously, you would hope so for the price, and it's a great helmet, and it's one of my favorite ones, and I wanted to make sure it got displayed, so it ended up over here. So yes, I can highly recommend this, but make sure you pay attention to some of the things that I've talked about when it comes to EFX Collectibles, because once again, some of these companies end up having problems, and I don't think EFX Collectibles is immune from that currently as we speak. Now, amongst the helmets I have on display, I don't know if this one actually counts, because further over to the right from the glass display cases we were just looking at is my Sideshow Collectibles full-size Stormtrooper statue. And that helmet does come off, and you can put it on your head and wear it even though you can't see out of it because it's meant to just be displayed on this statue. I did a video in reference to this where I talked about all my Stormtrooper helmets, and I actually compared this one to the other Stormtrooper helmets that I have. So I will tell you this, as far as a helmet is concerned, I can't really recommend it. It doesn't look that great as a helmet and a helmet alone. And on the armor and on the bust, it's a disappointment for the amount of money that you spend, because you can get a full-size bust with this same helmet. And as a disclaimer, I paid $7,000 for this statue, and when you walk in, it's full size, it's taller than I am, and it's overwhelming, so it's very cool. But if you pick it apart and stand there and stare at it, especially the parts of the helmet, it will end up disappointing you. So I'm going to say that I can't recommend this one, but just know what you're getting into if you're going to buy stuff like this from Sideshow Collectibles, because it's a beautiful piece, and I love having a full-size Stormtrooper, but you know, some of the details are a little disappointing. Now, that'll do it for the stuff that I have actually on display. I have also purchased some other helmets that I was very disappointed with, and they don't end up on display. Now, I mentioned my Empire Essentials Etsy shop Bo-Katan helmet. Now, that's not on display simply because I have two of them, and I want to display the one that looked closer to its Black Series compadres. So I'm not complaining about that one. I have a video on that, and they actually did a very good job, and the company was awesome. This year also, I unfortunately bought a Carson Teva X-Wing pilot helmet from a company located in Southern California, and I can highly not recommend them. I'm not even going to talk about the company again. The video about the helmet is down below if you want to take a look, but the shipping was absolutely unacceptable. The quality of the helmet was ridiculous. It had completely screen inaccurate weathering, and it was a horrible helmet, and I can't even recommend them one bit. I don't know what the rest of their helmets are like, so if you're going to buy from them and it's going to be a different type of helmet, just make sure that you get lots of pictures and lots of assurances, because I didn't like it. And then finally, there's my Galaxy Toys AT-ACT helmet, which is also a long story. In my video, I mentioned that I actually didn't order this one. It was sent to me by mistake, and I talk about that in great detail in the video. However, this one has some horrible screen accuracy issues, in as much as the visor is set back way too far. It's too small for my head. Just an overall disappointment. And Galaxy Toys, he's very communicative. The quality of the helmets is good as far as materials and things of that nature, but screen accuracy just doesn't seem to be his strong point. So, a word to the wise and a caution there. I can't recommend that helmet at all, though. It's just not even close. But there you have it, just a quick overview and an update of my helmet collection circa 2022. It's been another fine year of collecting helmets, and I've been mostly excited with the product that I've got. I appreciate you joining me today. If you're not a subscriber, maybe consider doing that, and that's the best way to support the channel. And of course, if you have any questions about any of these helmets or how I display them or how I lit the cabinets, I probably have a video for it, but go ahead and enter that in the comments down below, and I'll be happy to answer it as soon as I get to it. But with that, I will see you on the next video.